Let's have some serious talk here. You know what I believe happened? Why this country changed directions? The moving picture. Now, I'm going to disregard, I'm not even going to talk about what led up to that. We all know it all started when those people came over here and just took over. And I want to ask a simple question. Can you imagine how this country would be if they never took it over? If the Indians were still in control of this land? You know how beautiful it would be? It would be the envy of the world if those Indians could have kept them Europeans away. We wouldn't have, well, I don't know how long it would have lasted. But I think if they had never took over this land, we probably wouldn't have the atomic bomb. We probably wouldn't have all those mass destruction weapons, submarines, and you wouldn't have had all these rockets going out of the atmosphere. Yeah. And see, what happened was these Europeans, they had all these people working for them. They didn't have to work. All they could do was just sit back and invent stuff and make money. Yeah. They had us to, they had other people to work for them, work to death. They own people from the time they came out the womb till they went in back into the womb. Great. Yeah. And then when they started getting the moving pictures and then the talkies and then uh, we lost our way. Everything became entertainment. You can't find nobody serious no more. They literally think it's funny. I remember when news used to be news. Now it's just entertainment. Now it's just uh, what would get the most advertisement, the most expensive uh, advertisement. During the Super Bowl, a 3-second ad could cost up to $1 million. Come on now. You willing to spend that much money to try to sell something? That's power. Yeah. Because you are influencing millions. And out that millions of people, you know, a lot of people don't buy that product. Yeah. And the entertainment has served the morale, the moral compass of this world. Because think about it. They literally want us to believe that you got two married people in the bed on camera and it's not considered adultery because it's entertainment. And how many people have seen stuff on TV and want to do it, good or bad? And you look at the news, it's the same thing. And everything that's happening on television is happening in the real world. You could tell people that have looked at a lot of TV. You see these rich people out here want to go out of space. This man spent $5 million to go out of space. That's a little kid that grew up looking at Star Trek and really wanted to go out into space. You see these people on TV. What are they doing? Entertainment. It affects your daily life. It's just one big advertisement. You see something on TV. Oh, you want to buy that? Gives you some good ideas and some bad ideas. And I didn't know they had so many movies out here. They have made. Why is it making all these movies? And now, with all these entertainment, you got television, you got radio, you got the internet, you got the phone, you got the tablet, you got all this stuff. It is distracting us from what we need to be doing. We are living our lives through the lens. I am so glad that I grew up a time where we didn't have all that because I spend a lot of my time on the internet. I am, and I have to confess, I don't even read as much. That we do have audibles, but it's not the same as reading a book. I don't even have to go to the library as much because I can look up stuff, and the dictionary is pretty much a dinosaur. When you just look it up, it's not the same as going through a dictionary because you can look at all these other words. You can look up so much stuff, and now it has got to the point where these chat chat GBT chat. I don't use that. Then they have all this other data centers that are coming up that's making people's lives miserable, and it's going to mess up the environment. And then I want to talk to you about this man. Got a YouTube channel. He keep interviewing these MAGA, these Trump supporters. Why? That's why they keep being Trump supporters. They never have the money that Trump got, but they think they have the same status. Wherever they gather, they got all these people flocking to interview them and record them and take pictures of them, and it's all entertainment. They all have all these get up on, all these crazy outfits. I don't know if it's true or not, but they interviewed this one couple that was dressed up like garbage bags. Talk about people calling them garbage because they Trump supporter. But Trump said you're not garbage. You are patriots. You are. And then I remember when they went to the co- Republican convention with bandages on their ears. Someone walked around with diapers on. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's really, and they keep putting them on. They're not helping. Interviewing these Trump supporters. I've yet to see them interview a black Trump supporter. Where are the black Trump supporters, the black MAGAs? You don't see them too much now. Blacks for Trump. Oh my, oh my goodness. Because I've seen when TV turned to color, it really got bad. I remember the first scary movie I saw, and it is peanuts compared to what they got on TV now. But that one scene had me scared to take a shower by myself for a while. Psycho, that stabbing scene in the bathroom. And I think I think the next time that they had something like that was the Friday the 13th. I mean, see, that's what I'm saying. They always expand before they subtly introduce all this stuff. Because I remember when married people didn't even sleep in the same bed. They slept in separate beds. It was a time where they was only allowed to kiss for 2 seconds, and they had it angled where it wasn't too intimate. Now they don't go. They show everything, especially on cable. I'm like, no telling what these kids are seeing because you could look at any two by movie and see full throttle. I mean, there's no hiding it. And I remember when they never cussed on movies unless you go to well they was really strict. It was rated R, but now and what I don't understand is why is these cartoons kissing? Why are cartoons in a relationship, married with kids, and all this stuff? And all these parents is mad because They are introducing um, cartoons that are transgender and gay and all this. Yeah, it started getting bad, especially in the early 2000s. Because I remember uh, riding, driving with my kids in the car, and that's why I kind of stopped listening to the radio because they kept talking about erectile dysfunction. Even though I don't know if they knew what that meant, but it made me feel uncomfortable. Yeah, because see, we've never really been able to control what our kids see and do because Europeans control just about all aspects of entertainment. You know, because if we had our own news station, we would have our news station. We would have one that would be more family friendly. And see, entertainment has been became if it don't bleed, it don't read. So it's always been about violence, sex. I seen this one. Now this was I can't remember. I can't remember what year it was, but my first Tyler Perry movie. I didn't even know. I went. This guy took me to the movies. I didn't even know that was a man dressed up like a woman. It never. And the guy asked me, "Do you know who that is?" I said, "No, I didn't even know." But that scene really disturbed me. It was too realistic. I can't even remember what it was. I haven't seen it since. I haven't. It was the Diary of the Mad Black Woman. I haven't seen it since, but I don't know what it was. But that scene disturbed me. I need to go. I don't know if I should. I should go back and see why. I know I've seen worse since, but I don't know why the way he. I never saw that on TV. I never saw that in a movie before. And then we get. That's why they think that people are getting sensitive. I mean, desensitized about what Trump and his administration is doing because that's how the entertainment is. It gradually gets you okay with seeing this stuff on TV, and it's not okay. And they think, oh, well, we got a choice. Don't look at it. It ain't the point. The point is that somebody is looking at it and might want to do it. And our kids can be subjected to it. Just like I did not let my kids look at Chucky. It was just something about a toy killing people that I did not want my kids. Because I think it messes with your psychic. Something so innocent is killing people. And we really don't know the extent that these images are doing to us. Because they used to call them, um, what is that? Subliminal messages that they could give you, and you don't even know that you're being conditioned to think this is okay. Yeah. And just like I was saying, I did not want my girls looking at that Chucky movie, but they wind up seeing it anyway because I let them stay over my older daughter's house, and they let them look at it. And just like I didn't let my girls look at those videos or listen to rock music. As soon as they came up with them MP3 players, oh, they was able to get somebody to let them use their MP3 player, and they listened to the rap music. Because I heard them saying, like, how is they knowing the words to this song? So this is what I'm saying, that no matter what you do, if it's out there, they gonna find a way for every child to hear this stuff. And we listen to the rap songs, and your kids is listening to this stuff, and you don't think that's messing with their psyche? These movies that they see, you don't think that's messing with their psyche? Why in the world would a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old jump out of a car on the highway and try to run across 4 lanes of traffic on the highway? Nobody wants to say anything. But if we did not have that television, this world would be cleaner, nicer, stronger. We wouldn't have over 100,000 murders a year. Our kids would be smarter, more intelligent. uh, And you wouldn't have people spending $5 million to go out in space. You know what $5 million could have did? Five people could have been millionaires, and five people could have helped countless. We don't talk no more. Um, yeah, I remember when phones came around, and I used to tell my kids put them phones up. They're riding, we driving, we riding around, and they in the phone. They're not enjoying the scenery. They're not learning uh, how to navigate the city. They're not engaging in wholesome conversation. It's sad. And it's so bad that all they want to do is play games. It's like a drug. You're thinking about playing a game, or they either playing a game, or they just got finished playing a game. And also, not just the entertainment influencing our children, it's the other people that's being influenced television. I'm talking about back when my kids was young, like 5, 6 years old. I was hearing about 5 year olds sexually assaulting another 5 year old. Where's they getting it from? That's sad. And we're not being, we're not teaching our kids how to sew, cook, clean, uh, take care of children, take care of the elderly. We're not teaching this stuff. It's just sad. We're not giving them the right information. We're not teaching them how to be strong in their conviction. Because these kids have a lot to tend with, more than we did growing up. They still have to tend with the prejudice and the racial attitude and the gender role attitudes and how to become the person that you are meant to be, which is very important. 'Cause it don't make no sense that our kids are falling victim for something that could have been avoided. I'm gonna read a little bit of something that in this book. Prejudice and racial attitudes are prominent areas in which parental influence has been studied. Many studies have shown that by the age 4, children usually know about and endorse cultural stereotypes by the age of 4. Also, research shows that in general, children's level of prejudice is related to their parents. Prejudice, and that at least in part, they take over their prejudice directly. And it's the same thing with religion. You kids grow up and they become who their parents is, religion, their attitudes about other racial makeups at age 4. And you can look at it at age 4. A lot of kids have seen TV, and depending on what the parents, the shows that they may look at, can be downright harmful. Now, greatly influenced by parents is gender role attitudes. Why do you think we have a whole bunch of European men thinking that women should be at home, tending the meals and the kids? They most likely grew up that way. Children's gender role attitudes positively correlate with the gender role attitudes of their parents and with the division of housework they witness in their parents. You live in a home where the mother did most of the domestic stuff. The fathers, they do the outside chores, worked on the car. You pick up on that automatically. And that's the way they was raised. That's why I say all everybody who tend on want to get into a relationship with somebody, they need to get to know the family, especially the parents. Children of mothers who were employed outside the home generally have less traditional attitudes about gender roles than those whose mothers were housewives. Now, my mother wasn't a housewife. My mother had sometimes she had two jobs. As far as I can remember, my mother always worked. And she really didn't have to, but my mother was the kind of person that wanted her own money. She was my money is my money and your money is my money kind of woman. My mother was real, she liked the real nice, fine stuff. She was one of the keep up with the Joneses. Okay. If some of the aunts got new stuff, she had to get new stuff. And also, you didn't ask her for no money. She was famous for no, I ain't got no. So we knew not to even ask her for no money. We had to ask Dad for some money because Mama wasn't giving up her money. Her money was her money. Um, that's why all of us worked. No, it's. I don't think it was. It might have been a couple housewives in the family. Uh, Similarly, daughters whose fathers encourage their independence and achievement are most likely to undertake and succeed in demanding careers. See, this is something that they don't teach you too much in school no more that should have been advanced. Is teaching our children the psychological warfare that is out here, how to how to navigate through this world, and life skills. It is a skill to live in this world. And if you don't have nobody teaching you, you're gonna have you're gonna make so many mistakes that you may not ever get out of. For instance, I grew up. I don't understand how I got a family like this. I grew up in a family that didn't teach us nothing, didn't tell us nothing. When I got on my own with kids, I never had uh, a family member call and ask me how's it going. I never had a family member that even mentioned, do you know how to get groceries? Do you know how to run a house? I never had one that showed me how to um, decorate, how to be organized. Nothing. I didn't even have. I grew up with four sisters. and a mom, and none of them ever even told me about menstruation, boys. Uh, I I I remember we was talking in school. We was learning about babies or something, and I asked my mother about breastfeeding, and she made me feel more uncomfortable than I should have. Um, Natural. We 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 didn't learn about nature. Period. It's natural to be uh, sexually acquisitive. It's natural to have these feelings. It's natural to be attracted to boys or girls. It's natural to feel. We wasn't allowed to even feel anything. And when you grow up like that, your world is very small and you stumble because you have no direction and you can't see the pitfalls, you can't see the humps, you can't see the craters. You walk into one crater to another one, and then you're looking for love in all the wrong places. We stop even directing our kids in the right direction, in the right relationship. When I got pregnant, my parents never asked me who the dad was. Uh, they didn't even mention nothing about nothing. Um, that's why it's so important that our kids, because we see now that it takes a village to raise a kid, and that village consists of NGOs. And I've made a video about why they don't want those, because we need people that are not going to be um, in the business of surveillance, in the business of lying, because we need our parents to know the truth about life. These kids need to learn everything because the parents that's these parents now don't know shit. You go to half the parents on this planet or half the parents in this country, and none of them would know how to decorate, cook, sew, or even take care of a pet. And sure don't know how to raise food. Sure don't know how to eat healthy. Because I'm telling you, these young ones right now is not gonna live that long because they eat too much fast food. And I know that it's too many young people that are dying from heart disease already. I had two nephews that died from heart disease. And it wasn't just the smoking and the drinking, it was the unhealthy life, uh, food, and lifestyle. When you're out there partying, fighting, going to jail, going with this woman, that woman, think you're having fun, but all you're doing is setting yourself up to die at an early age. Both of my oldest nephews died at the age of 50 from heart disease. And the family that I'm in, anybody care? We don't talk to one another. We don't try to help one another live better. My older sister, I think I look back on it, and like they've never ever said, Teresa, you need to stop. She sat right there and let me sit up there and drink all that gin while I was pregnant. That's why I could never be around anybody pregnant and let them drink and smoke around me. No, no. And I don't blame you. I don't judge you, but I'm not gonna let you do that in front of me. But that's why I said we need more NGOs so we could talk to people and help people genuinely. Because when you have the government involved in organizations, no, they got a underlying agenda, most of them, and it depends on who's running the government at the time. They have to. We see through the movies and stuff. Because I look at some of the shows that my young grandson be looking at, and I'm like, oh my God, why is these kids acting like this on these shows? And I see why these kids act the way they do. Because they think that's the way they're supposed to act. Ah, we would not be dealing with this if we was raised different. Now, the ones that be running the government, because it was a time when I was growing up, we didn't have that much representation. You just you could count the number of black uh, people in the news uh, and government, and now that they've let us in, I don't see no too much changed. It's, they can't really say what they want to say. They can't really do what they want to do because they know they'll be kicked out. And then we have a lot of that when they do get in that high position, they get let themselves get set up by becoming a criminal, accepting a bribe, or doing or smoking crack, like the mayor of Washington. Um, it's just a setup because every black person that gets in any kind of power or leadership, you have 10 white people trying to get them kicked out. And we haven't learned that yet. Just like all three of those government officials in Mississippi, black, Lambamba or somebody, whatever, they all got caught in a bribery scheme. Really? The one in New York, robbery. He had to bend over backwards for that trunk to try to get out of going to jail. All the way he was raised. Um, all right, I'm gonna get off here. Thank you for listening. You all have a wonderful day.